Good afternoon, Year 8. I've got some feedback here on your consolidation quiz that you did for remote learning task 12, and you were thinking about World War I before you actually wrote your essay. Now, as you can see from the top of this screen here, several students scored full marks on that test. Really well done. That's Cassie and Joshua, Matthew, Anthony, Benjamin, Alex, Tierney, Millie and Abda. So really well done. Lots and lots of you just got one question wrong. So I'm just going to have a look at the questions in order, and you'll see that some of them are on the side of praise. We were all pretty good at doing them. And then on the other side, we've got a few areas of misconception where we weren't so sure. So question number 1 was about which empire was the most powerful. And I think most people were fairly confident in the fact that it was the British Empire. Okay, and you can see here the British Empire covered a quarter of the world's surface at its height, and reputedly about a quarter of the world's population fell into those areas owned by Britain. And it was known as the empire on which the sun never sets, because there's always, as you can see from this map, there was always a part of the world where there would be daylight, and it belonged to Britain at that time. So most people got that. It was definitely head and shoulders above other European empires just prior to the First World War. Now, question number 2 was about imperialism, and there was a little bit of uncertainty about this word. It doesn't look like it particularly, but it does relate to the word empire. You can see, I think, if you look at the middle of the word, empire, imperial. And I think that's what you've got to hang on to, because what imperialism is basically one country taking over another country or many other countries, usually for their land or their resource or even for their people. Okay, but that was imperialism, not nationalism. Number 3 was the scramble for Africa. There are no, even today, the people that go to Antarctica are really going there as researchers, geologists, etc., scientists. And Asia, which is one of your options, Asia had been pretty much explored by now and was used really for trading. India, China, there was sort of well-established trade. But at this time, Africa's almost one of the last big areas on the face of the earth still to be explored properly and discovered. So to the European powers back then, this seemed like a fantastic, just grab and run. Just get as much land as you can and put your flag in it, and it belongs to your country. It becomes part of your empire. And there was lots of resources other than slaves, but including slaves. There was diamonds, gold, exotic animals, the furs and the feathers of animals. So Africa, very much the answer for number 3. Now number 4, you mostly knew what an alliance was, which was which. And so you got 2 questions right. I think the way to remember them is that entente is a French word. So if you try to remember that France is in that particular alliance, so the triple entente was Russia, France and Britain, then you're left with knowing that there must be in the other alliance, Germany, Austro-Hungary and Italy. And of course, Germany built its alliance up because it was afraid of being encircled by the Triple Entente. Okay, there was a little bit of confusion about what an alliance actually was. It's kind of meant to be a friendship, an agreement with other countries that would benefit your country and theirs. But equally, the other side of the coin is if there is a problem, then you've signed up to say that yes, you will go and defend your friend, your ally, and that might very well mean you have to go to war. And unfortunately, that is what happened just before the First World War. The assassination of the Archduke triggered a chain of events. And, once Russia had stepped in, then the countries that are in the alliance with Russia know that if they're not careful, they're going to be dragged into this war. And you might remember that little sort of diagram where the powers are pulling at each other because they're all going to go in on the side of their friends. Now we moved on a little bit to what Germany wanted in terms of the militarism, and it was a navy. Quite a few people thought it was an army, but she already had a huge army, and what she really wanted was to build her empire, and to do that she needed overseas territory. And if you're going to go, whether it's to Africa or anywhere else, to get your overseas territory, then you've pretty much got to have a navy, and your navy is going to protect your developing empire. So she started to build the dreadnoughts, or the equivalent of the dreadnoughts, and Britain was kind of matching those. And I think pretty much everybody understood that. The dreadnought was this horrendous battleship, the like of which people had never seen before. And it was there to create this arms race. Which of these great powers, which of these empires would have the greatest naval capacity? You were also really good about exacerbating. You understood, almost all of you understood, that to exacerbate means to make something worse. So in your essays you were able to look for a cause that actually made everything just that bit more difficult, that bit more tense, that bit more stressful. Well done on that. And I think pretty much everybody knew which Archduke it was. Franz Ferdinand was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. And, he knew that pretty soon he would be taking over. He'd be leader of this empire, which really was past its best. And it was falling apart, and there were lots of tensions and problems. And when he went to Sarajevo that day, he was trying to sort of smooth things over a little bit. And of course, unfortunately, this became the trigger for World War I, when the Black Hand group and Princip shot him, assassinated him and his wife. So that was the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So well done everybody who completed that. Lots of you did, and well done those people who got 100%. I will be sending out another video which will have feedback on your actual essays. There's been some brilliant essays coming in, so look out for that in due course. That's it now from now. Bye.